Your campus, your community, your life. This is Bloomington Normal's one and only live newscast, TV-10 News.
Survey results from Country Financial were released today about Americans and the housing market recovery. Good afternoon, I'm Joe Fabiano.
And I'm Chris Newman. TV-10's Colton Tortorello is live in the newsroom with how this may affect some Bloomington Normal residents.
Thank you. Country Financial, which has complied with Rasmussen's reports, set out a national survey of 3,000 Americans. Country Financial's main interest for the survey was to find out what Americans are feeling about the housing market.
Over the past year, home prices are up 12.4% alone, and concerns for an eco-bubble is a major concern. With an increase in home prices, 41% of Americans currently think owning a home is attainable for a typical middle-income family.
There are several different barriers Americans feel as reasons why they can't purchase a home, and it actually varies among different age groups. The majority of Americans say that the reason they can't own a home is a lack of a down payment, at 26%.
No matter the age, people in America are always facing obstacles when buying a home. According to the survey, people believe having too much debt already and having to make a down payment is stopping them from becoming homeowners.
Our latest survey from October found that nearly half of Americans, 48%, think that we're headed for another housing bubble within the next 2 years.
According to the survey, 27% of homeowners do not expect to pay off the mortgage by the time they turn 65. 37% of the people who are at the age 50 to 64 say they still will be paying off their mortgage post-retirement. As for the 70% of Americans that do own a home, their focus is on mortgage payments.
Financial serves about 1 million households and businesses throughout the United States. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Colton Tortorello. Now back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Colton. The City of Bloomington is working towards an increase on taxes for those who own property. The council will deliberate next Monday over a potential property tax increase in the next year that would increase the tax by around 6.5%. This increase would be expected to bring in around $1.5 million. This money would then be used for funding pensions. As of now, the city is looking at $90 million in pension deficits for just the police and fire departments.
While the Bloomington City Council will go to work next Monday, one Bloomington official will not. Bloomington City Attorney Todd Greenberg is believed to have been placed on administrative leave. Greenberg is expected to be out of the office for the next several weeks. As of this time, the city did not have a comment for us on why Greenberg is gone.
The Normal Council looked over some budget-cutting options in their meeting last night, announcing a hearing 2 weeks from now on the issue. The town is looking at the proposed 11% increase in the property tax levy. $1.1 million is a proposed total levy increased for next year, this being expected to make up for a loss in pension investments. This would lead to a $61 increase in property tax for homeowners with homes over $150,000.
Even though the Normal Council talked over new levies, one of the main focuses of the evening was the concerning of the fire department. TV-10's Ryan Garfield tells us more.
One of the bills that got the green light tonight was that Towanda would get more assistance from the Normal Fire Department. Towanda, a small town located northeast of Normal, got what they wanted tonight, which was more help. They were getting help from them already, but needed more. The Normal Fire Chief, Mick Humer, explains.
Actually, when it was time to renegotiate or relook at the contract or the agreement that we have with them, they asked if we could do it 24 hours, 7 days a week. I met with the city manager, and he had some discussion with some council folks and everything like that, and we decided that we felt like we could do that.
Council member Scott Preston believes that Towanda is making the right choice in asking for more help from Normal. He believes that it is in their best interest to exchange money for the fire department's help than to do it on their own.
That it makes the most sense for them to, rather than adding the increased services for the village himself, to have the town of Normal come and do it and to serve their residents, and then in exchange for that, they pay us an amount for our services per call.
With approval being passed tonight, Towanda residents will now be getting 24/7 service available to them from the Normal Fire Department. With TV-10 News, I'm Ryan Garfield.
The next council meeting will be on November 4th.
The Unit 5 School Board will have a meeting tomorrow night and will be talking over the newly released test scores for the area's schools. Both Unit 5 and District 87 school boards did not reach the performance levels they were hoping for. Of 87's 6 elementary schools, none reached the newly created performance levels, and only 4 of Unit 5's 17 elementary schools did. A meeting on the matter will be held tomorrow night at Brigham Elementary School at 7 p.m.
While some parents may be talking over their children's scores, some are fighting today for the right to become married. Thousands of residents are expected to rally at the state capitol in Springfield today in support of same-sex marriage. The event drawing the residents is the March on Springfield, a group pushing for the House to pass legislation on same-sex marriage.
An advocate for LGBT rights will be on campus this evening taking part in a stage reading of her own play. The School of Theater and Dance will host award-winning playwright Claudia Allen. The department will read through her play Movie Queens tonight at 7 p.m. in CVA room 151. Later on, we'll take a look at Allen as she talked at a film last night in Normal.
There will be another event tonight at 7 for those who may not be interested in Allen's play. Flame will put on their annual event tonight of Take Back the Night. The meeting is meant to bring awareness to sexual assault and domestic violence, giving them a voice. The rally will begin at 7 p.m. in the Prairie Room of the Bones Student Center.
Those looking to go out in Bloomington may have to find a new place to park. TV-10's John Ladner is here now to tell us why.
Thanks, guys. Cracks in the foundation of a busy local parking garage may cause some temporary inconveniences for patrons, especially with a big event coming up this weekend. The parking garage located next to the U.S. Coliseum was found to have structural damage this past week. Over 200 of the garage's 250 parking spaces have been deemed unsafe to park in and have been closed off for use. Bloomington Planning and Code Enforcement Director Mark Huber discusses how the cracks were discovered.
Well, the damage was discovered by a consultant that was doing an evaluation of most of the city's buildings to take a look at maintenance and maintenance needs, basically.
The biggest of the cracks found so far is located in the roof of the first floor of the garage. Upon further inspection, more issues were found in the garage, thus leading to part of it being closed off. The city has put up these temporary posts in order to keep the building up. The posts are supposed to keep up the structure. It's gone to a T-shaped crack right here. It's got the vertical crack, and it leads up to the horizontal crack. They are afraid that those cracks will spread and cause much more permanent damage.
I'm sure there's going to be some other testing that's going to have to be done throughout the garage to make sure that, to find out if we have, again, an isolated incident or if it's more widespread.
Now there is other parking available. There's a garage located at 204 West Market Street, which leads to an uphill walk to the Coliseum. There's also street parking available throughout the city, but those spots might be a little more difficult to get into. And with Rascal Flats coming this weekend, parking is sure to be at a premium. For TV-10 News, I'm John Ladner.
Thanks, John. Coming up, we'll look at a school shooting in Nevada and how a teacher died defending their students from a gunman.
Find out more on that, as well as see what the Council of Members in London is discussing regarding Syria today when we return. A student opened fire in a Nevada middle school Monday morning.
And that tops our look at your world at the noon hour. A boy attending Sparks Middle School in Sparks, Nevada brought his parents' handgun to school yesterday. Classmates of the boy say he was being bullied recently. School teacher and retired Marine Mike Lansbury tried to intervene with the boy and was killed while doing so. Lansbury was the only casualty other than the shooter who took his own life. 2 students were also injured. The school will be closed for the remainder of the week.
The Friends of Syria and Arab officials are meeting today in London to discuss and encourage a united position and urge the opposition to participate in the Geneva peace talks. These peace talks are expected to take place soon, but a firm date has not been released. The U.S. State Department says the emergence of the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria's link to al-Qaeda is causing problems in finding a resolution. The opposition insisted that Syrian President Bashar al-Assad step down, but he replied in an interview yesterday that he doesn't see why he shouldn't run for a 3rd term.
Smog levels in China remain high today, with several major roads and an airport still closed. The city issued a red alert for fog this morning at 5 a.m. In some areas, visibility is down to less than 65 feet. All kindergartens, primary and junior middle schools were ordered to suspend classes for the second day in a row. Pollution levels are still far above international standards. The small airborne particles are considered harmful to one's health. A factor that government officials blamed was the burning of crop stock after the harvest.